What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Opinion. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news for Texas fans, but I kind of told you so. When I made my video talking about I thought Texas was going to be a little bit overrated from their number one ranking in the preseason or in the offseason, a lot of you Texas fans had a lot of things to say. You came after me. You thought that this was the same old song and dance because I was wrong last year, and then I made a video the year before saying that Alabama would beat Texas. So you thought I'd be wrong again. But what you don't realize is when I'm wrong, I'm very seldomly wrong. You can go back and look at a lot of my videos on this channel. I'm right more than I'm wrong. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I told you so. I told you that Texas was not going to beat Ohio State. I told you that I did not think Arch Manning, the hype was warranted. I thought all of his hype he was only getting hype because of his last name. And granted, it's only one game. It is only one game against a good team. I get it. But let the hype train die. Let Arch go out and do it first before we start putting the hype and talking about he's this first round pick and or not first round pick, but first overall pick, in this draft or the next one coming up. Let it die. And then Texas as a team, your wide receivers do not look dominant. Xavier Worthy or Matthew Golden, they're not walking through that door. Adonai Mitchell, they're not walking through that door. Ryan Wingo, that route he ran where Arch threw the interception, I would actually put that on Ryan Wingo. Right, I got so much to say. I'm not trying not to make this video long, but Ryan Wingo, unless you're handing the ball off to him, he ain't that special. DeAndre Moore, not that good. But this game is all about Arch because it was all about Arch before. So let's focus in on Arch here because, like I said, I didn't think the hype warranted it. So once again, one of the first plays of the game, Arch has a guy wide open on an out route. Wide open. Would have been like a 15-yard gain. Arch throws it straight in the dirt. Then he has passes sailing over his receivers. The guy couldn't do anything. He dropped back, hold on to the ball, looked like Jackson Arnold out there, just holding on to the ball, try to scramble, wasn't getting much there. The Texas offensive line actually looked a little bit better than I thought they would, considering they had 4 new starters. I felt like their offensive line held up. So you can't blame the offensive line for Arch's performance. Arch was not good. He did throw a late touchdown. His stats will make it look like he had a better game than he did, but make no mistake, Arch was outplayed by Julian Sand. And Julian Sand probably should have had more yards than he did if some of his receivers did not drop the ball. So you have to keep that in mind. What I don't want to happen is don't go back 10 weeks from now and forget this game and look at the stats and say, well, Arch outplayed Julian Sand. No. Arch Manning was the second best quarterback on that field today. Julian Sand outplayed Arch Manning in his very first start. Arch has started before. Ohio State absolutely controlled this game. Do not let the stats and they outgained them. No, Ohio State controlled this game once again. And then let me get on to Sarkisian because I know I'm jumping all over the place. This game just took place. Sarkisian, we're going to start calling him goal line Sark because in big games, when Sarkisian gets down on the goal line and he tries to go for it, when he gets inside the 5 and then he tries to go for it on 4th down, they get stuffed right at the goal line. It happened when they played Oklahoma. It happened when they played Ohio State last year. That it actually turned into a turnover. Happened when they played Washington. And it happened again today playing against Ohio State. And this time you had a different quarterback starting. So you can't blame Quinn Ewers. His name is goal line Sark until he can figure out how to actually put the ball in the end zone in goal line situations. So we're going to call him goal line Sark. So Sark was not good today. Arch Manning was not good today. I thought Texas's receivers looked average, below average. In fact, you could clearly tell which team had the better wide receivers, but hey, that was not any surprise. People on Texas said, well, Ryan Wingo is the Jeremiah Smith of Texas. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he got locked up by Jermaine Matthews, and Jermaine Matthews picked him off, and that interception was on Ryan Wingo to me. Now, the second interception, which should have been an interception, actually, no, it shouldn't, because the ball rolled on the ground. But Arch should have thrown 2 interceptions in this game. But Arch should have thrown 2 picks in this game, but he didn't. He throws 1. Arch was outplayed. Texas fans, you got what you deserve. You put all this hype on this kid. And like I said, I know this video, I'm all over the place. But you got exactly what you deserve. I told you so. Arch Manning, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback, but I don't think the guy is going to be nearly as good as what you all hyped him to be. At all. So be quiet. Let the man play first, and then you can come out and give your assessment. You're not as good as what you thought. I don't think your defensive line, they played decent, but you're kind of vulnerable in the interior of that defensive line. And that's something else I also tried to tell you as well. So basically, Texas fans, how does 0-1 taste? On Monday morning, make sure you go get you a donut to celebrate the 0 wins that you have up to this point in the season. But other than that, I'm out.